adding bones to our hand. It's not too hard, does not take too long, but a little bit of a tedious process. All right, I'm gonna make sure we're in object mode, and we shift a armature and add a single bone. Now, if we move, we'll see that it's pointing up and down. We want it to point forward. R X -90 in this case, -90, and that places it flat down. So we still have this X-ray mode on, which allows us to see through, which works. We don't necessarily need to change the bones to be in front at this point because we can see what's happening. But that's always helpful to do when you have X-ray mode off. I'm going to grab this bone. I'm going to move it towards the thumb and go into edit mode for the bone, select the tail, move it here, and extrude it out. So I have two bones here. I'm going to select this bone, shift select this bone, and I'm going to duplicate. And I'm going to grab this tail, oops, G, grab, G, grab. That's good. And E, move, shift select those three and duplicate it. So shift D. G, grab, G, grab. Select the body of these bones. 1, come on, 2, 3. Shift D to duplicate. And this one, we just need to scale down a bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. Shift D, scale. And we have ourselves in general bones for hand. Now we need to assign the geometry to the bones. The easiest way to do it, well, I'll show you a slow way. We go into object mode. We can select the geometry that we want to parent to the bone. We could shift select the bone. Geometry, shift select. Okay, I'm going to turn this X-ray off. Geometry, shift select the bone. We go into pose mode. So Alt Tab, or here, pose mode. Select the bone we want to parent. Command P, bone, and go back into object mode. Select the next piece of geometry. Shift select armature. Alt Tab to go into pose mode. Select the bone. Control P, bone, rinse and repeat. And what that allows you to do is control the geometry with the bone itself. But that's a tedious process, and ain't nobody got time for that. So one way to quickly do it is here in the edit menu is typically you have lock object modes enabled. You could go ahead and disable lock object modes, and I'll allow you to select other geometry, shift select armature. Make sure you only have that bone selected. You don't want to parent this geometry to multiple bones. Some weird stuff will happen. Select the geometry, shift select the bone, P, bone, so on, and so forth. The Alt P again to parent, or Control P to parent. Shift. So just rinse and repeat that process. It is tedious, but it pans out in the end. So once you have it all parented, then we could just rotate it. The thing is, if we just rotate whatever, it'll do things that hands don't do. Like, I don't know any fingers that move in this direction, but if that's what you're looking for, go for it. You can set it to local. So that way, when you rotate, You can rotate on the local axes with the rotate button. Okay, so if I were to RX, it's going to rotate it on its local x-axis. RX, there, RX, so on and so forth. Will allow you to rotate those on those axes. Another way to constrain rotation is to go in orthographic mode and rotate. When you rotate here, it's only rotating on the x-axis, no other axes. Is it rotating on? So, I mean, it's a way for you to more finely control how you want these particular items of geometry to move. So make a hand, pose it in such a way, and then create a render, submit that to Schoology. You can just see that you know how to create FK bones.